Hello flower friends, welcome to Flower City Blooms, where it is the dog days of summer. And like many of you out there, I am harvesting like crazy and barely keeping up.
And seriously, who doesn't love cosmos?
And yet, I'm also still planning and planting ahead for fall. Yes, I said fall. I just harvested the last of my lettuce successions. It's now mid-August, almost exactly mid-August. But I am still planting things, and I wanted to share with all of you the things that I'm planting here in August. We're in Rochester, New York, zone 6B-ish, sometimes 6A. We do get cold winters, but that doesn't tell you what our heat is. We can, in rare occasions, get into the 90s midsummer, but we're now entering the second half of summer where our average temperatures are in the 70s, and they get up to about 80 degrees this week, but the last few days we have had, starting our mornings in 60s. So we're starting to go downhill as far as temperature ranges, which means I'm going to be replacing my lettuce with some other things that don't mind being planted in warm soil, but flourishing in cool temperatures. Those include kale, which I ordered from Johnny's. This is, I do have two kinds here. So I have red boar, and then I also have winter boar. They have the same germination rates, roughly 99% and 97% for winter boar. So about 3 months before expected fall frost, if you're direct seeding. So again, these don't mind the warm soil temperatures, but this also is a protected area on my porch. So it does get morning sun. So this is the east side, west over here, and it mostly gets morning sun, and then right now it's the afternoon. So this is what it gets in the afternoon shade. I'm also going to plant arugula. So this is another thing that I will be harvesting more of the violas that I have growing here. This is King Henry, I believe. And so I'm going to be harvesting some of that and then planting some of the arugula over here. Both of these are okay to grow in mostly shade conditions, as long as they get at least 2 to 4 hours of sun per day, and that's pretty much our mornings. So these should do just fine up here. So stay tuned, and because of all the sounds and everything, right now we also have the sounds of crickets and all kinds of pollinators buzzing around. They're very loud. So I'm just going to plant these and put some music over it. Okay, so yeah, so these are little finger carrots. They're like mini carrots. I think these are the same thing. I love carrots. We love carrots. I grow them every year, and my theory is just leave them in the ground as long as possible. I've harvested carrots in the middle of an ice storm in December before, and honestly, they were great. And then the trick there is if the ground is frozen and you're harvesting them, just pour a little warm water and that'll loosen up the soil. I'm going to put a little divider here so I remember that these seedlings are not my kale. So let's do this. Let's put the red boar over here and the winter boar over here next to the carrots. And I'll put a little divider up there too. This is actually lemon mint. And so I'm letting that grow a little bit. Even though that spreads, I'm keeping an eye on it to make sure that it doesn't spread much more than this. But we will continue to use it. The arugula, probably going to plant over here in this section. I'm going to thin this part, this viola row out and plant that there. So now I'm going to cut these back. These are the Lisianthus. I'm going to put these in the back because they're not getting enough sun here, and hopefully the snaps and all the other lizzies can help them straighten out. And this I'm going to rinse and store for salads. Yummy. Alright, so these are the seeds that I just sowed in our porch bed. And this is what I do when I am done sowing seeds. I hang on to the seed packet, whether I use the full seed packet or not. If I didn't use the full seed packet, very likely I'll continue successions. So it's important for me to have this information, but also if I don't do successions, I may have seeds for next year if they're viable for several years, which most seeds are. So I just write on their, locations. It's in our edible porch bed. The first succession, so I am planning to do these kale seeds in successions, was August 13th. I don't need to write down every date on this packet. I could just refer back to the 13th and then go to my calendar and jot down the dates there when I should be planting another succession. But I do also want to take note of when I see emergence, just because I like to keep track of that kind of stuff and see if, how good the seeds are, if my experiences are reflective of what's indicated on the packet. All that useful information for future years.
As you'll notice, I also have 2 other locations. Those are, I have an idea in mind, but TBD, so stay tuned for that. Same thing with arugula. I didn't yet write down the date yet, but I'm going to do that, and then the location where these are. I'm going to do that here, and then I'm going to seal this a little bit better so that it stays shut. This one does not reseal as easily as the Johnny's packet actually does. So next up, well, first I gotta write this down, but I am going to plant these 3 Lisianthus that were in the porch bed. I know, we still got work to do. I'm going to plant these in the backyard among the gladiolas, which will serve as a support structure, hopefully. That's my intention. But these were the original Lisianthus that I sowed on, I think, January 28th. And they've been through the ringer. They've been everywhere. So they're either Arena Baby Pink, Arena Apricot, or Voyage to Yellow. Aha. All set there. I'm going to plant these Lisianthus that were on the edible porch bed and relocate them here among the gladiolas. I'm going to trim some of the gladiolas down. We are in zone 6, so our winters are a little bit too cold for them to stay out, but if I were to leave them here, they might do okay over the winter if I take extra precautions and definitely mulch them. But the issue though is that I'm not certain I really want to have glads here next year. I might prefer to have them in the front of the house and use this space for some other things, maybe dahlias, maybe some other floral experiments, maybe more edibles, so we'll see. So let's get started. Trimming these down. Right now, I'm really just focusing on making some space. One of the reasons why I'm not planting them up here with the other snaps, asters, and Lisianthus, which by the way are doing really well. Is because I want to keep them separated so I know which ones are the ones that I just planted here. I want to keep track of their progress and if this worked or not. Oops. As you can see, they've been bending and retching and looking for the sun on the porch. So hopefully this will help them find it more easily. That's that. Let's get these tied gently to the stakes. So I ended up not using the gladiolus foliage to support the Lisianthus and instead used the garden stakes that were already in there for the gladiolas. Figured that was the smarter way to do it. And I'm also using the garden VELCRO. I'll put a link in the description so you know what I'm using, but it is meant for plants and safe for them so it doesn't damage them. And we're done.
Joe Pye weed, which I just trimmed, Chelsea chopped. Gonna be lilac time. Got a few buds, no blooms yet. We seem to be late. Carmel Lagoon. This was the first bloom. It's overdue. On the way out. That one came second. And more to come. I might put a trellis up or an arch going over the alley for these mouse melons, I think is what they're called. Dutchman's pipe, which is a native and a host to the swallowtail butterflies, but specifically there's so many varieties of them, but there's one that's specific to Dutchman's pipe vine. Cosmos among the garden peas. This one's going to be ripe soon. Then going up the ladder. Got some Lisianthus. I'll be cutting them this week. Hey guys, good morning. It is August 16th and we've got some germination going on. Our arugula is already growing. Only 3 days later. Still waiting on our kale, but that's to be expected. There's a few seedlings actually. So actually I probably will mark that as a germination date, emergence date for the winter boar. Over here is the winter boar. Over here is the red boar. I'm not seeing those yet. But I'm gonna water those in and we should get some sprouts coming up soon. By the way, I haven't done this in a while, so let's see what today's trivia is. Bonus points if you know how to properly spell the name of this movie. Got kale. More of the winter boar. Fewer of the red boar, but they're coming up too. Germination day. Just needed a little bit of water for a little boost. And it's August 16th. 3 days later. Also, how cute is this? I have to do the boil water method for conditioning these stems because yarrow and silver dust like to wilt, but this is Carmel Lagoon Dahlia, Colorado blend of yarrow and silver dust. Pretty. How's about a rainy day project? Hey guys, so the rain stopped. It is very soggy outside, but it stopped just enough for me to be able to speak without a microphone. Right now I am going to plant some seeds, even though it's August.
And even though these are seeds that I normally would be planting in February for spring, let me show you what I got. So right now in the greenhouse, it's about 79 degrees. And the nighttime temperatures are in the 60s. So I am hopeful that I can plant some flowers that will have some fall, add to some of the fall foliage that we have around here. So I'm going to plant some stock apple blossom, and I've not grown this variety before, but I do want to see how they do. I'm also going to grow some Madam Butterfly red Snapdragons, 24 to 30 inches. This variety of stock is actually the same, 24 to 30 inches. And I know Snapdragons in the past I would just not cover, and in the past I would, soil block these. But this time I'm going to plant in these containers, which are basically window boxes. And I'm going to estimate about, 9 plants per window box. But obviously I'm going to plant some more seeds than that and then thin them out, to make sure that we have good germination. It is Happy Frog potting soil from Fox Farm, not Coco Loco, but Happy Frog. And then there's Happy Frog soil conditioner mixed in. And that's it. And I have not sifted it like I would with soil blocking. It's basically potting soil with a little bit of conditioning in it. Also want to show off, check out this volunteer tomato plant that just happens to be growing in the gravel of my greenhouse. I, upon noticing it growing, decided to leave it there. And just now, as I was filling these window boxes with soil, I decided to add a little bit of soil underneath it. And there's a rock there to keep it upright. It was bending forward. But let's see how she does. There. I don't know. She picked this spot, so I guess she's happy here. She looks pretty green too, so I have no idea what variety of tomato this is. It could be anything, because at some point I've grown it here when it comes to tomatoes. Let's start with the Snapdragon Madam Butterfly. That's 5 seeds right there. That gives you a better idea of how small they are. This is how big they are. Now I do have plastic wrap that I could put over them, but I'm just gonna leave them as is because it's been pretty humid anyway, and we've been getting rain, and rain is in the forecast. But I am going to be checking on them daily. Let's move these guys over.
And I should probably label them, right? I have some more snaps that I might, these are container friendly. Should I plant them in here? 12 inches. Why not? Let's do 2 containers of these. And these are, I already planted half of this packet and winter sowed them. And unfortunately, Harmony got a hold of the container and decided to run around the yard with it. So I don't think we have these in the garden. So one of the risks of winter sowing, make sure they're in a protected location, safe from animals, including your own. Thing that I'm going to start planting in my packet of seeds are radishes. I find that you can pretty much plant radishes at any time, you know, and if you have an indoor space, you can even continue to plant them in the winter, and if you want to keep them warm enough. But I also normally would direct sow them. But my garden is full right now. So these are just to get them started so that when they are big enough, then I can pop them into gaps in my garden. And also, I love radishes. I know it's an acquired taste. I know not everybody loves radishes, but I do. So we're gonna make some. So there we have it. Label these packets so I know the date that I planted things, and I'll also take note, like the other plants, when I see emergence, so I can keep track for future years. .8. And we have some radish emerging. Too early for the stalk and the snaps. nuts. Yes, I ride a motorcycle. Fun fact. So I definitely have to do a lot of work to the greenhouse to get it useful for the fall, but look at these radish sprouts. So I'm probably going to use these for microgreens as well and leave one or maybe two in each pot for actual radishes. Nothing yet with the snaps. These are the First Lady snaps that I had in pots. Actually, I'm gonna, now that the sun has shifted, I'm gonna rearrange these. I had them propped up and angled toward the sun because these need sunlight for germination, or grow lights, but we're in the season of sun, so why not? I've been watering these throughout the day when I would come out here just to make sure the soil stays wet. It's different from soil blocking in February and March when they're, you know, under your nose indoors and you're constantly seeing them every day and able to make sure that they're watered and bottom water them on trays. Here they're in pots, so it's a little bit different. So yeah, so I don't know if you could see it, but of the stalk, we have one seed has emerged. And again, I have these out here because of the sun. It's about 68 degrees now. I'm gonna get my spray bottle and water these down again. All right, so I actually noticed there's two germinating for the stalk. And I just checked my seed packet from when I sowed these seeds in the winter, and it's literally the same day that I noticed stalk emerging, same number of days. I think it was 5 days. So today's the 21st. And nothing yet with snaps, but those took, as I recall, a little bit longer. I think they took 7 days. And speaking of things that I planted in the spring, or winter, I should say, that is growing now. Check out these arena lisianthus. Okay, guys, seriously, who doesn't love cosmos? In this mix, there are a few double clicks, some Picotee Sensation, Apricota Lemonade Apricot. There's Apricota and then there's Lemonade Apricot, Gloria. We've got Dazzler. I might be mixing up the Dazzler and the Gloria. We have some double clicks. And these white ones are supposed to be Xanthos. They are Xanthos, which are supposed to be a pale yellow. These are not pale yellow. But check out how pretty these are. Ah, I just love them. I love the foliage too. The wispy foliage. These two little ones broke off, so they're shorter stems. But These are the, I believe these are the double click white mix and pinks, and yeah, so loving these guys. Just finished taking some sprouts, just finished harvesting, just finished getting some radish sprouts that I'm going to use as microgreens, and actually these are the green kale. Still have to get the arugula. These are the radish, so I'm going to clean them off and wash them, rinse them, and store them, and we'll add them to salads. And these are super nutrient packed. Everything that you hear about growing microgreens and sprouts are good things. And I left 1 or 2, in some occasions 3, in the pots to grow radishes. So, all right. So that pretty much does it for this. What I'm planting, what spring things I'm planting in August. I was going to pre-sprout some ranunculus, but I can't find the corms that I ordered. So they were purple Tomer, I think Tomer was the variety, but they were purple color, and I was thinking they'd be beautiful for fall foliage. Some of the things that I plan to grow and the bouquets that I have in mind. But unfortunately, I couldn't find my package that were delivered. They're probably in the house somewhere. But anyway, I'll find them, and it'll be too late to plant them for this fall. So what I would have done earlier this week, so by mid-August, maybe second week of August, is pre-sprouted some ranunculus corms. Takes about 20 days or so, for 20 to 30 days for them to then sprout. They might have germinated earlier, given the warmer temperatures, but now it is cooling down. So this actually, I think, would be the perfect temperatures. So you can see I'm wearing a jacket. This morning it was in the 50s overnight. Right now it's 69 degrees in here, so so it's low 60s outside, and you know, it's August here in Rochester, so we're having a cool down, and it's the end of August, so we're going into September. This is when temperatures will start to get right in that perfect range for some of your cool season flowers. So I kind of wanted to see how they do. We'll see how the Snapdragons do. We'll see how the stalk does. And I'm going to continue to harvest the things that are growing. The dahlias are starting to open up. I have been harvesting some, but it seems like some of my favorite varieties that I was really looking forward to are a little bit slower than the other ones. So the lilac thyme, Thomas Edison, or creme de cognac, and creme de cassis. I don't know if I'll have any of those, but we'll see. And some of them are starting to bud up, so there's positive signs. But take care. Thank you for joining me, and hopefully see you in the next video. Possibly collecting seeds, possibly and probably a video on looking back at the seeds that I ordered this past year, how they're doing in the landscape, what I like, what I don't like. Do they at all represent what I ordered? For example, these clearly white cosmos, which were supposed to be pale yellow. I ordered those from Eden Brothers, I believe. And so there's a few things like that, a few dahlias that I ordered that are clearly not what I ordered. Now that they're in bloom, that's when you find out. So stay tuned for that update, and I'm gonna get these guys in water, and see you soon. Peace. from Eden Brothers, we got I'm so excited about this.